Welcome back to another episode of the Gifted Performance Podcast. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video and subscribe for future content. For more information about our one-on-one coaching and other training or nutrition options, visit giftedperformance.com. Our newest feature, the Gifted Express, offers premium programming for bodybuilders, powerlifters, Olympic weightlifters, and lifestyle clients for only $30 a month. Enjoy the video, we'll see you on the next one, and as always, stay gifted. Welcome back, guys. Another episode of the GPP, Gifted Performance Podcast, giving you knowledge and practical takeaways to improve your own general physical preparedness. Not a lot of knowledge, practical takeaways on this one, but we guarantee you that the content will be fun, it will be educational, it will be, what would you, Paul, one word to describe when Goob comes on the podcast. What is it?
Hell.
Notorious.
What was yours?
Paul agreed to say erotic last time, actually. That was what Paul agreed to say.
I have to say, the clip that Paul posted where he tagged you, John, or he was like, we agreed that we would never fight to the death because John is so sexually attracted to me. Oh, man, that one had me rolling. John, how are you? How are things going? What is the latest in the world of Goob?
Well, one of my friends, you guys know who Phil Viz is?
Yeah.
Because he calls me.
I am aware.
I don't know Phil.
Love him, hate him. He's He's like me. He's polarizing. He's a little crazy. I love him. He calls me and he goes, John, I'm going to show you how to do green screens on Instagram, and you need to roast people with it. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And like he kind of explained it to me, and I was like, I don't know, bro. And then he sent me a video showing exactly how to do it. And I was like, holy fuck. I can blow so many people apart with this. I've got like, a memory bank of just fucking crazy shit, that I've seen people do, like where they're fitness fraud in it. And so I immediately go and, do you guys know who Niles Cruz is?
Yes, the mutant of king of mutation.
I am also aware of him.
He's been mutating his photos with Photoshop for at least. There's a fucking video of him.
Well, I don't know who this is.
Video.
Oh, you got to look him up.
Niles what? Yeah. What's his name?
Niles Cruz, Cruz.
His name used to be like mutated something.
King of Mutation.
I was going to tag him.
King of Mutation. I remember it.
Yeah. But he's fucking, he's doing, it's like a video of him. Lee Haney's got his armor on him. But he's stretched to the left side of the video that he's on, and you can only tell because Lee Haney's arm would have to be 8 feet long to wrap around his body in order to pull that off. I'm like, fuck. I just saw that recently, and I remember him from like 3 or 4 years ago doing the same shit. So the first fitness expose was Niles Cruz, and it's just a photo of like him that I found he was tagged in, where his waist looks like a brick. He's not a bad bodybuilder. It's just he's not what he posts online. His waist looks like this little like hourglass type of deal.
Yeah, I know a girl like that.
Do you think? Because I've blasted people for this before.
We can expose her next, Dom.
What if there's like a significant like medical like disorder, like a psychological disorder where they can't help it. They just fucking.
It's called
body dysmorphia.
It's called dopamine addiction to Instagram.
You guys see
come
that?
on, camera, focus in there.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You have to trust me though. It's really bad.
You can
it's
pull
really
it up
bad.
on a browser and share the screen if you want.
Can I do that?
Yeah, you can. You can pull it up on your browser while I tell a story about him. So, John, you say he's like a good bodybuilder, but he's local to me. He's like down in Florida by me, so I've seen him backstage at shows before, and it ain't pretty. It ain't what you want to see in a bodybuilder. The last time I saw him, he had some cut off frayed jorts on backstage, and the best pit stains, the most well-developed pit stains I've seen in a while. And he was spoon-feeding blackberry jelly to one of his clients backstage before they were pumping up. So that was my last encounter with
that
Niles.
good insulin
I'm
crash.
not saying he's not an amazing coach. He's not an amazing bodybuilder. I'm just saying, like, there are so many people out there that would be so happy to look like him.
Oh, yeah.
And would post it unfiltered. Pretty big dude. Looks like he works out. And then he's there. All right, I'm ready. Can I share?
I'm not gonna lie.
Hit that share screen. He also, Anthony was at the Florida State Championships, I think in like 2018, and he was like, there's this dude backstage who won't leave me alone. He keeps telling me that I should be injecting gear in like my biceps
Oh
And it
my
was
God!
awesome.
You guys
Look at
see
that
It was awesome
picture.
house.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not great.
Yeah, I will
It's not
say
great.
I don't know.
But he is a
the
man of
guy.
God. He is a man of God, Dom.
that's a red flag.
I will
He
say
is a man
I
of
don't-
God.
He is.
I don't know the guy, you know, like he could be a good dude, he could be a total piece of shit. I have no idea. I did see him at a show once in Florida, and I was like, "That's it." I thought you would be more, you know, based off those photos. But
You
I
must
do
get that a
remember,
lot.
didn't he have that stint where he was claiming to go all natural, right?
Yes.
But still posting wildly like just unbelievable photos.
He's tried pretty much every charlatan fitness person angle. Natty, man of God, photoshopping the photos, muting this.
Gonna be a WWE wrestler.
I think
I had
he
a
did.
friend.
honestly.
Yeah, I had a friend who owned a gym in Orlando, like a little like kind of warehouse gym, maybe 900, 1,200 square feet tops. He was gonna buy that from him straight up. Man, this dude is all over the place.
I'll give it to him.
I was told by a client and once a friend of mine that he approached them on Instagram, told them this mega cycle or whatever, and showed him his own transformation. Was like, this is what I could do with you. And now I'm wondering if he sent him Photoshop photos, and that is pretty dirty.
David,
Especially knowing that somebody has a coach.
Dynamite D said he DM'd his wife and sent him some weird video of him posing and was like, "Which one's your favorite pose?" or something, and it's like a photoshopped video. Like, fucking lunatic, man. Yeah, but I will say, I expected him, because he's tagged in the video. I expected him. I was like, "There's gonna be some shit talks and back and forth. Get a little out of this. It'll be fun." Everybody else tried to shit with me. But he didn't. He didn't.
He watched the video. He said, "You know what? He's 100% right. I'm gonna take this one on the chin. I'm gonna move along. I'm gonna keep
He
it
just
pushing."
folded. I was like, "Come on, man. Come on." Half the reason I'm doing
He's been through it so many times that it's just kind of like,
numb. He's
if I
numb.
ignore it, it'll go away. Like,
You had the other girl who did fight back, though, right? Episode 2.
Oh, she was actually episode 1. Her name is Saidana. And,
Okay.
So I've recently gotten obsessed with cameras. My girlfriend wants better content for her shit. So like, you just buy a bunch
Her content's good, by the way.
Yeah, her content is pretty solid.
Jim Katie? Jim?
underscore.
Jim Katie. Jim
And
Katie underscore.
she don't
Hit her
tag
with that
me.
follow.
But everything's shot and produced and edited by yours truly, Goob U, Amish Lord.
damn, that's dirty. She doesn't even tag you, dude.
Doesn't even. I'm like, where are my photo credits, lady? I'm sitting here shooting. I'm on the ground, but she don't. But so like, there's a difference in like millimeter and aperture and fisheye, whatever, wide angle. And so this girl's posts 2 photos, and I can bring it up in a second here. But the one on the left is shot with like the iPhone rear-facing camera that doesn't have like a perspective warp to it, and the one on the right is shot with the front-facing camera, which is like a fisheye shorter lens that gives you whatever's close to it looks bigger. If you guys have ever taken progress photos with the rear and the front, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This girl posts one of each. Her before is the shitty camera. Her after is the good camera. The one that makes you look bigger.
Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, there's the same shit in the background, which makes it super easy to call out because the chair in the background looks like it's 40 feet away from her on the right.
Oh my gosh, she just stepped up closer to the camera.
She didn't even though. That's perspective. Like it's the perspective that the lens is because it's like a wide angle.
Oh
perspective.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
you can
so-
hit that like 0.5 to zoom it out a little bit.
Exactly what she did. And so I'm like, yo, I posted it, and she's in my inbox like, I didn't do that. And I was like, all right, cool. Everybody's got a shot. And I only make a bet with you, by the way, if I know I'm right. So if I ever offer you guys a bet, do not fucking take me up on it. Write the money off if you say yes, because I already know. I'm not betting unless I'm 100%. I'm like, hey, I'll make a bet with you. I'll send $1,000 to a charity of your choice if you are right, and you'll send $1,000 to a charity of my choice if I'm right. Send me the EXIF data, EXIF, that's like the data from if you pull the photo, what it was shot on, when it was shot, where it was shot. Send me that, and we'll see what's up.
Yo, can you like get those like without asking them?
If they send you the original photo, yes, but if it's,
It's only on the original photo. I think if you go on the iPhone, you like swipe up on the photo, it gives you the photo data.
God damn
a
it.
little button at the bottom that says it's an eye with a circle around it for info.
Yep.
So she asked me, how do I send the exit data? I know I didn't manipulate these photos. I know I didn't use a different camera. I was like, okay. So she goes and she sends me screenshots of one which is using the front-facing 23mm camera and the other is using the rear 4K camera. And I was like, all right, I don't know. You know, it's like you're dealing with somebody. You're like, they just don't understand? Like, are they dumb? So I'm like, hey, 2 screenshots, circle, I think, different cameras, $1,000 to St. Jude. And she blocks me.
Oh. Imagine that.
Wow, those poor kids at St.
Can't
Jude.
even just own it. The poor kids at St. Jude.
Well, they got taken care of because I posted about it and I made the video and I was like, hey guys, there's $1,000 missing from St. Jude's purse. And so I donated, and all my clients within 24 hours, we got a little over 1,000 actually sent their way. So you know, they made it right. And every single fucking time I got a donation, I'd tag her in it from one of my other accounts and I'd say, money by Monday, Sidona. So yeah.
I think it was our original episode. We talked about how bullying can be used for good, and I think that this is the perfect example of that. We are trying to bully this girl for good, so that the kids at St. Jude can have this money. Like, you're doing right in the
Laying
world.
in her bed, crying real tears. Just fucking.
I think she definitely cried. Oh, and I hope she doesn't watch this because this is gonna be really bad. But one of my clients actually goes to her gym, and he told me all of this crazy shit about her. And he was in the gym yesterday, and he sends a Snapchat, and she's in the background. I was like, he didn't say anything. It's just a Snapchat of his face, and I see this girl, and I was like, oh my god, is that? And he's like, yeah, she works out at my gym. Everybody hates her.
Yeah, man.
Terrible.
Poor girl. Poor girl. At any point, she could have just made it stop. She could have been like, "You're right."
I gave her an out.
Camera.
I gave her an out.
She could have taken it down. It could have all disappeared. All would have been well in the world.
Man,
But
I need to learn
I
some
even got
tricks
back
like
to her.
that.
We had 750 raised, and I got back to her and I was like, hey, because she unblocked me for some reason and sent me a message and was like, I just want you to know that I didn't manipulate. I was like, oh my god. I was like, hey, listen, we're 250 short for St. Jude. What do you think? And she blocks me again.
Goob, I'm surprised you haven't been permanently banned from Instagram.
Oh, I have.
How could you ban him though? How could you ban someone who's openly going and donating to charities and doing right for the community? Like, yeah, it might start with something that's a little confrontational. Maybe you could chalk it up as cyberbullying. But if it ends in St. Jude's getting $1,000, like,
You know
it's
what?
really
I could
crazy.
see. I
What's up?
personally could see, like, if she saw that and you sent her what you were looking for. If she was like, "Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. My bad." And because some people, I see people make progress photos all the time where I don't know if it's just a detail thing, and most people aren't detail oriented, but they don't make sure that things are the same size, or
one's
you know what I
zoomed
mean?
way in, one's zoomed way out. Yeah, they're not.
They do it on
perspective.
purpose every time.
Every time.
You're never going to see one where the progress looks backwards because they accidentally put the before photo bigger than the after. I've never seen that, have you? But I've always seen it where it's a better before to after because the after photo has some sort of manipulation. So I'm not buying that. There's no accident. She knows exactly what's going on. She can see the back of the photo. She's got like 200,000 followers. So she knows
And they're probably
how this
bought.
game goes. Yeah, she's been doing it.
200,000.
Yeah, what's funny is she posted me on her story, and like 2 people messaged me angrily. And I was like, wow, that's...
Because everyone else that watched it was like, oh man, this guy's right.
Or
No,
that
everybody
all
else
her
that watched
followers
it was a
are
fucking
fake.
bot. Yeah, yeah, a bot can't get mad at me. Yeah, terrible. God. Or they were like,
How long can we expect the fitness fraud series to go on? As long as there are fitness frauds in the industry, you'll be out there. We'll put on not the
As
bat
long as
signal,
Goob
but
has
the Goob
time.
signal.
Right? Hey, Goob has time. Fuck it.
That was Monday, I think I posted it, and I got all my check-ins done. And I was like kind of cooking on this idea because Phil had told me about it a little earlier. And I was like, oh my god, everything's done. And I just sat here in my and I pulled up all my screenshots and I put everything together and I shot 3 back to back and threw them out. Those were my best videos of the week, by the way. But when will I stop? I will stop when there's no more fitness charlatans. Fitness charlatans.
Oh, dude,
You don't know what
her
charlatans
followers are
is.
definitely fake.
Oh, you're looking her up?
I'm
I can't
looking
look
through
up.
her follower list, and they're just like the followers 12 following 5,000.
Yeah.
Now, when we look at the greater scope of fitness charlatans as a whole, I think there's a spot for our topic of the day, which is going to be creepy coaches or creepy coaching in general. Now, that was going to be our topic of the podcast for the day. And as with any podcast, we need to start with some definitions so that everyone is on the same terms in terms of what we actually mean. So, John, define what a creepy coach or creepy coaching is in your opinion.
So, my golden rule, and everybody's golden rule, should be you don't put your PP in anybody that's paying you money for your advice. It's a pretty easy rule to follow, I would think. Sure, it happens. Sometimes, like, somebody dates a client or they're dating a girl and she doesn't want to go to somebody else because that's weird. So they're dating their coach, but they were dating them beforehand. That's not always the way this plays out. There's most of the stories and the shit that we got for creepy coaching was predatory. I have a position of power. I'm the coach. You're listening to everything I'm saying. And so they start easing into a more personal type of conversation and texting and Snapchat and whatever. Creepy coaching is just you're using your position of power as an expert, as somebody that they trust to facilitate a relationship or a romance or fucking somebody when you otherwise wouldn't have had a chance because they're not there for that. They didn't approach you at the bar. They didn't approach you out, say, oh, hey, you're cute. Give me your number. They're approaching you and saying, I want to give you $200, $300, $400, $500 a month to improve my physique. And then you're taking it for your own personal benefit. I think that's being a creep.
And I don't, something I don't think a lot of people think about is just like how it's such a dangerous place to be, right? Because, as a coach, you learn so much about your clients before they ever learn anything about you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's a place where, like, yeah, it's so easy to slide in and be manipulative, Like, there's the trust there, and you just learn so much. Like, people are telling you about things, all their things. You're learning how they work emotionally and mentally and stuff. So it's almost like it's so messed up that I feel like, and there's no way to make this happen, but I feel like if you do this thing and it becomes known, like, you should not be allowed to coach anymore, because that's what would happen in any other professional field as a teacher, college professor.
I was going to say, well, it exists in other sports.
Literally.
There's, like, for U.S. Olympic sports, there's Safe Sport, and they make me take the goddamn certification every year for coaching Olympic lifters that basically says, like, yo, don't fuck your clients. Like, you're in a position of power. You are exerting that power over them. Like, they're going to tell you a lot of very secret things. Feel like that's a very close relationship, and if you are found in violation of that, you are removed. It is not a 1 year, it's not a 4 year, it's not an 8 year ban. You're done, and you're not coming back. The NPC IFBB would have to kind of line up with the Safe Sport, kind of the IOC or the U.S. Olympic Committee, standpoint of having that in the sport. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, and it's at the end of the day, it's a good evil test. You're given a situation that you can take advantage of it. Everybody, every single day of your life, you're given a situation you can take advantage of. You're walking down the fucking street. Somebody gets out of their car, goes into a corner store, and leaves it running. Do you get in the fucking car and drive it the fuck away? No, because you're not a shitbag. But if you're behind a computer screen and there's some girl porn or feelings out to you, and she just broke up with her boyfriend because she's telling you about it, and that's why she was off on her diet that week, do you slide in?
God,
no,
dude,
no.
it's like crazy people do that.
They do.
Make me feel comfortable. Oh,
that's what Paul was just
slimy.
saying. They absolutely do, because he's right. How much weird shit that has nothing to do with physique, has nothing to do with fitness, have female clients told you guys?
Dude, every day almost.
Every day.
Every single day.
And it just pours out.
And do you ever use it for your own instrumentation to go have sex with somebody or date somebody?
No.
Not unless you're a shitbag.
Exactly. And it's like, it's unfair. It's unfair. Like, it's not fair. They came to you because they're not going to question what you say because they respect your opinion. So if you start to take that relationship outside of bodybuilding and fitness, they're probably going to act the same way, not question.
I'll tell you what's really not fair and fucked up about it too is that I'd be willing to bet that most of these women, if not the majority, like they will leave the situation not really saying much, staying pretty closed about it, and sometimes feeling like it was just a normal breakup, like things just ended normally, like there's nothing, you know, it was fine, it was some mutual decision to split up. And you know, part of that also, what's really fucked up is part of that comes from the desire to not want to make any waves, right? To not get blacklisted from anything, to not be talked shit on by a particular group, you know what I mean?
You're right. And usually the way it goes too is if this guy's working one girl, there's probably 5, 6, 7 others in the fold that all want what she is getting right now, not realizing that everybody's getting taken advantage of. And if this situation breaks up, these girls, they don't give a fuck. They're not going to go and champion for her and be like, she got taken advantage of. They're going to be like, oh, fuck that girl. She's exiled. And so she's less likely to say anything then because she's got a fucking mob of girls who are trying to do the same thing she was doing that are jealous. It's a dangerous game, man.
Especially when people are young and impressionable. I'm going out on a limb here, but I would imagine there are a lot of young female coach or clients that sort of see that, then the breakup happens, and they think like, man, it would really be cool to be dating this, you know, hot, popular coach, or, you know, like there's some kind of title that comes along with it, you know?
That's like a weird thing that I don't understand. Guys, I'm 5'4", not a very attractive dude. Never had that much.
Don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short.
5'4.5".
In the Amish population, you're probably top 10%, 90th percentile for attractiveness.
In the place where nobody grooms or wears deodorant. Yes, correct. You are correct. Where internet doesn't exist and you can't find anything out of your community. Top tier here, but in the real world, not that great. But it's just weird how people sometimes will, like, you know, women in general will like want to date coaches, and you guys have seen this, where you can like spot the ones that want to date a coach. It's just very strange. It's an odd clout. There's no. I want to be like, yo, there's nothing here, no clout. Nobody's gonna appreciate you for this. I don't know what you're doing. And,
only on Instagram and maybe the bodybuilding community. Anywhere else, somebody's like, hey, what do you do? I'm like, how do I not make this sound lame as fuck?
Yeah. No, that's what I meant. I meant it's like, these are DMs. You're never going to be walking someone and what do you do? Like, oh, I send emails to tell bodybuilders how to live their lives. Oh.
Yeah, we're not
I tell people I'm a performance specialist.
Do you say what kind of performance?
No, I just say performance specialist.
Wow.
Take us home to mom and dad. Mom and dad are gonna be like, what does your new boyfriend do for a living? Like, oh, he like works with bodybuilders online.
I always say
it's like that's.
I just say I send emails for a living, and then nobody ever asks.
It sounds like when you tell people you're a coach, I always feel like their first thought is, oh, he must be between jobs. Like, you know, he's probably waiting for something better.
I tell people I'm a physical culturist. I am engaged in all things around physical culture and exerting yourself physically. And now that I kind of say that in public with three other dudes in front of me, kind of sounds worse than I thought it would.
Yeah, we should.
So I'm not proud of myself.
Talk about the other level of creepy. You know what's more fucked up though? These women are paying for that service of getting creeped on. Like, they're paying.
Do you think that adds a layer of like victimization, where like when the situation goes bad, they're like, well, I was paying for this in the first place, so like the onus comes back on me. Like, I signed up for it, I paid for it, I let it happen. Like, who am I to say something when the situation does go south?
Yeah, I think so. I brought myself into that situation, so maybe I said too much, maybe I blah blah blah. But it shouldn't matter. Like, you should be able to have some girl that's trying, and you're the coach. And like, no, it does. Like, it's us, not them. You girls, whatever shoot your shot or whatever you're gonna do, but it should be a barrier that should not be crossed. To date somebody. I think a lot of coaching, sex, like, gifted or whatever. You guys have a thing that says you can't date clients, right? Yeah, I mean, I do the same. I barely take women just because I'm terrible at coaching women, and I usually just refer them to somewhere else. But the ones that I do take, like, they know how it is. It's like a business relationship. It's not a, we're not gonna text. I have some clients that will text me, but it's like dudes, they're like calling me at 11 o'clock at night for some shit. It's like, okay, cool. But if that was a woman, I'd feel a little weird about it, only because I'm a straight dude that dates women. So I would say no to that. And some people, they have trouble saying, maybe they accidentally start dating their clients or whatever, but I feel like I know what's going on when it's going on. So everybody, because I'm the most oblivious motherfucker to women's advances in the world. So if I know it's happening, then they definitely know it's happening.
Well, sure. I'd say it's a different thing, right? Like, somebody ends up dating a client, they get married, it's been years, like no other weird shit's happened, versus like the coach where it's like, oh, I can name 4 or 5 people that they coached and dated. It's like, that's, Yeah,
but there's another angle to that, and it interacts with the creeps too. And I did this once because I was dating a girl that wanted to do bodybuilding, and I don't coach a lot of women, but I was like, hey, everybody's a fucking creep, so I'm gonna coach you. And it wasn't like I was dating her and coaching her, but it didn't start coaching in it was the opposite way around. But sometimes that does happen where you're dating somebody that's a competitor, but you want to coach them because everybody else is a fucking creep. It's your girlfriend. Like, that was why I coached her. I was like, everybody's a fucking shit. I didn't know, who was dirty and who wasn't.
It's like there's a way that it can go where it's ethical. It's like if you're dating someone and then you start coaching them, it's different than if you start coaching someone so that you can eventually date them.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the creepiness, is like sliding in your DMs because I think that you're an attractive girl. Hey, I'm a bodybuilding coach. I think you do really well in NPC bikini. And then, starting that coaching relationship with the intent of, oh, I'm going to date or at least hook up with this girl at some point.
Yeah, that's a little less nefarious, I think. But some dudes, they use...
That's quite creepy.
I mean, no.
In terms of...
I've seen it this way, too, where it's like they start dating, right? But the whole time, the coach is sort of like, the background plan is always, I'm going to coach her too eventually, right? Like, the coach dates an athlete under another coach, they start dating, and then
like the rabbit.
The coach poach date trio, the big three. Yeah.
And it's like that was the plan all along, Like,
the official term that is.
That's just way too much thinking. That is way too much effort,
man. Who's got time for that?
That's premeditated.
Well, here's the thing: is like, I think with some people, it's not that premeditated, but that's their personality. Like, they have those personality sort of disorders, right? Where it's like they pick up female clients and they maybe don't, the thought isn't, oh, I'm going to date this person, but for some reason that situation constantly occurs, and it's because they have manipulative tendencies. They like to control things, like psychological disorder type shit, like what is it? What is that called? Where you're really into yourself. People always say like narcissists and shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Paul, your audio is weird. I don't know why, but it's weird. It sounds weird on mine.
I do think a lot of it comes to, I don't know if it's like they're just straight up lonely and like they don't have anybody to support them. And they I feel like they create the situations themselves sometimes. And I'm almost defending the coach in a way. Like, they almost present a vulnerable state. Well, actually, then the coach takes advantage of that. So actually, no, never mind.
That's what you call.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, there's
no good way to look at this. It should be like a pretty clear and dry. Don't date. If you're dating them before and then you start coaching them, that's cool. If you're coaching them and then you start dating them, you probably shouldn't be doing that. And you should put them.
If you're getting PayPal, Venmo, Stripe receipts from them that say XYZ has paid you for coaching, the rule is that you don't then go to their house and fuck them. There's your rule to live by.
Correct. And it's
Unless you're a gigolo, because we at Gifted Performance, we love gigolos. So if you're getting paid for sex, 100%, we support that. That's entrepreneurship at its finest.
Let's be real though, gigolos get paid in cash. They're not gonna have Venmo, Stripe.
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash.
Jesus, do you guys remember that post I made? That was the most shared shit I've ever posted. It was like, creepy coaching has to stop. It was just like text, and I just basically said what we just said. Like, you can't be in a position of power and putting your pee-pee inside of somebody that's paying you money. Advantage of them.
I don't get it, man.
Yeah, and I scrolled through the comments, and I said, I know you're a creepy coach, and you're lying, and I know you're a creepy coach, and you're a lying piece of shit, and I've heard horrible stories about you, and you're telling on yourself by commenting on this.
That was so bad. I got so many people, so many girls in my inbox that were like dropping dimes. It was like fucking clemency. It was everybody from every angle. And it was weird because there was a lot of like stories, the same people that all seemed to check out because they said the same shit. Like, there was one guy over in Texas somewhere where they were like, yeah, he would invite me over to his office, which turned out to be his apartment, and he said he needed to check my body fat. And they would get there, and I guess he'd be like, well, you got to take your top off for me to check your body fat. Just like next level. And there were probably 14 that said that.
Yeah, I know of a person that does something similar. It's like, hey, why don't we one-on-one train in my basement?
Yeah, my bed. But then there was a whole other side of this where it was like scorned lovers. Like, these girls would send these big fucking stories, and I'd be like, well, he seems pretty morally repugnant, but there's nothing illegal or creepy here. You know, it'd be like they're dating and he's doing something else, and they'd be telling me this crazy story about like objectively they're a douchebag, but they're not a creep. And I'd just sort of be like, oh, okay, thanks. Like one girl literally was in my inbox and was just, it was basically like her coach was a dude that a bunch of people wanted to date, and he didn't want to date her, and she was upset about it. Like, that was the story. And I was like, hey, like, you know, sorry, I'm not going to ruin a man's life because he didn't want to date you. Like, I didn't know what the remedy was for her. She's like, he's a creep, trust me. I'm like, okay, show me something. Just trust me. Like, no, I'm not trusting you. It's not how this game works. Ruining people's lives for what?
Do you think that's kind of the opposite end of the issue? Is that when you do post something like that, you know, you get a lot of people that come to you with unsubstantiated rumors, or they're like, they see you posting something about, let's say, that coach in Texas, and they just start piling on with, you know, rumors or stories that may or may not be true. Do you see that as another part of the issue?
I'd say it was 60-40. If I got 1,000 messages, 600 of them were something that was maybe morally repugnant and not super cool, but not a creepy coach. There was one guy, though, his name's Hallen, he's from the Pittsburgh area. I probably, a lion's share of the reports were about him. It was like weird shit. He'd like send that picture of his pee-pee, whatever. And this is right when this is all going around. He gets arrested in Pittsburgh for... He's outside of a bar, driving his car, just trolling around, offers some girl a ride who's wasted, takes her to his house, there's a video, a Zoom or like a Ring camera of him allegedly throwing her over his back and carrying her in the house. He gets picked up for rape and kidnapping or something, rape and something else, but he's like literally in jail for it right now. And I'm like, I saw the story and I was like, that checks out. Every girl said he was a fucking predator. Wow. Fuck that guy. He actually was one of them that commented on the original Creepy Coach.
I'm trying to find it. I can't find it.
Did he?
Alan Physique something. Oh, it's because it was on my original profile that got deleted by the fat chick, so you'll never find it.
Oh my God! Another victim.
To the fat one.
You know what's crazy to me, dude?
Yeah,
to time. You might want to revisit that post.
You know what's
Throw it back up there.
crazy to me is like, you know, some of these coaches, they just tons of accounts come out, right? And then you're one of the girls that nothing bad ever happened to. And you're just like, well, you know, I don't know what their situation was. It hasn't happened to me. You've always been good to me. And so I'm not going to let this interfere in our relationship with this dude. And I'm like, how can you fucking support that? You know, it's not, maybe if it's one allegation and nobody really knows, but like when you have multiple account after like just tons of them, it's like, how do you just look at it in that manner? Right?
Well, I think
the way-
I will say I think there's a lot of situations like that happen though. Like you could think of like one of your favorite companies that you use on a daily basis. If they get hit with sexual harassment, are you going to stop using that company?
I would if it was like Matt Jansen. I've already boycotted all of Revive and Raw.
No, I'm not even just saying anything fitness related, like anything. Like Blizzard had sexual harassment issues, and I still play World of Warcraft.
That's because you're scum.
But that's
terrible.
That's
person.
different because that's a company that has thousands of moving employees in it, and there's one or two. There's one person. Do you take them or do you not? And I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like, you know, the.
I can see the person that it didn't happen to innocently saying, "Well, it didn't happen to me."
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like the bigger the coaches, the more seedy, hate-mongering people there are likely to be. You know, if they're coaching 500 or 600 athletes every single time in the roster, and they got a bunch of people underneath of them, that's just more opportunities for like a scorned person to go and say something, and that's what I noticed in my creepy coach. But there were a ton of things that came to light that I put out there that nobody had really heard of because these girls didn't all realize their stories were the same. And if that was the thing and all the stories checked out, post that shit out there for everybody to see. But then there were a ton that were like these crazy off the wall shit where it'd be like just a fucking screw loose in my inbox, burying me with all these stories that had nothing to do with sexual harassment, nothing to do with sexual assault, everything to do with like some guy who was objectively a dick but not a creep or somebody that needed to be punished. And I feel like those lines immediately get blurred as soon as we start to talk about it, because there's people that are legitimately victimized by douchebags and creep coaches, and then there are scorned lovers that were in it for the wrong reason and they're upset. And that was I think a road. Those women are kind of fucking it up for everybody else because they're piling on to a legitimate situation with their illegitimate bullshit. Like one girl literally was upset that her coach dumped her, and I was like, what? Like, what do you want me to post? Like, take you back? How do I remedy this? Like, what do I do for you? She's like, well, it's just the way he did it was just not cool. He texted me. I was like, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's a guy that really raped a girl, and one that checks their titties out at his apartment and calls it his office. Those very, very, very real. This is not real. You know, he dumped you. I'm sorry. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. I have strong feelings on that one, man. I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like that dude shouldn't be supported, man. And when it all seems pretty, things line up. A lot of people have very similar stories.
Paul, you can't trail off in the middle of a sentence.
I was just saying it was just a continuation of what I was saying earlier. Like that whole group of people that are like, well, he hasn't done it to me, so I'm gonna just be okay with it. I'm just gonna not look at it, pretend it doesn't exist. It doesn't affect our relationship. This guy is still my coach. Like, you guys don't think that's a little weird?
The attorney in me says I won't believe anything until I see it for myself. And the attorney in me says, if it's that prevalent, there's going to be a screenshot, there's going to be evidence, there's going to be a recording of it, and there's going to be some substantial hard evidence. If all I see is, oh, he did this, and I saw this, and I heard this, then I'm less likely to believe it unless I see it. When all of these girls were describing the same situation, he invited me to his office turned out to be his apartment, he got out a tape measure, he did this, he asked this, all the same details, that means something to me. When I hear like 6 different stories and they're all a little different, and it's this, that, and the other, things that don't seem to make sense, it doesn't hit as hard for me.
And that's what I mean, like the situation where they all match up.
And John kind of brought me around to that, because there are some rumors about, I would say that he's probably the most successful coach in the bikini space right now, and a lot of rumors about him and how he conducts himself with clients. And John basically told me, like, I've talked to the guy. I don't think that is the truth, and I haven't seen any of those rumors actually played out or any like legal recourse taken there. And I was like, you know what? That's kind of how it's got to be. Like you
the
can't.
shitty thing about
I don't know. It's
Well,
a
with
tough
that
one to
guy,
wrestle with.
I think I know
so
what
that
you're
was-
talking about. With that guy, at least I didn't see anything sexual bit brought up about him. I think it was mostly just poor coaching practice. You know, like sending everybody the same shit. You know, running them into the ground. Shit like that.
No, there was one girl who made a video, and this is super fucked up because this is how the shit can go when we start talking about it. She made a 2-minute video where she said, I'll paraphrase. She said, "This coach is a creep. Fuck him. I'm not working with him anymore. He invited himself into my hotel room. He tried to give me a massage. He wanted me to take my clothes off, this, that, the other. He offered to spend the night. All this, all this, all this." And this is like, for his roster, a lower tier competitor. 2-minute video, shared thousands of times, viewed probably 40, 50, 60,000 times. I saw it on everybody's story that day, and this is when I made my post about creepy coaching. He gives it a week in reply. No, not even a week, maybe 2-3 days in replies. His reply is about a 14-minute video where he's explaining his side. Now he's got, and you have to wait until the last 5 seconds of the video to see his evidence, but it's real evidence. He has text messages from his other clients. He's got like 12 girls there or something. 4 minutes before the girl came into the room, and then some girl 4 minutes after saying, "Thanks for whatever." Basically, he had an alibi that showed this girl was in his room for 3, maybe 5 minutes tops. And she's saying, he gave me a massage, we had this conversation, he's trying to take my clothes off, he offered to spend the night. And the evidence of other girls texting him replying, photos of them with EXIF data of them in his room before and after pinpoint that she was only there for maybe 5 minutes tops. And that to me, I was like, wow, I watched the video the first time, I was like, maybe there's something to this, I'll pay attention. He posts his video, I'm like, all right, well, we got to write that one off. And that was the biggest piece against him. That was the hit piece.
Yeah.
And if you watched her other shit, you're like, this girl's a little fucking off. Like, there's something going on here.
He's won some wrongful lawsuits too. He's sued women for stuff that they've said about him and won.
Dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's on top right now. There's a lot of people angry. I think there's girls that get on his team and they're like upset because they're not, the star they thought they were or something. And then if they're super demented, shit like this happens. Had he not posted that with the text and the whatever and all that, we would, there'd be people that probably still think he's a creep. And there's probably people that never even saw his video that think he's a creep.
And still say it. I know there's people that still say it because I hear it all the time.
She never replied. He posted, "Hey, you were in my room for this many minutes, and I have 2 other people that were in the room before and after. I have photographs that prove EXIF data at the time was taken. I have texts that prove the time was taken. What's your reply?" And she never replied.
That's the unfortunate thing, I feel like, as a coach these days. Like, you got to protect yourself, man. And, like, you can't just be going and seeing girls alone in a hotel room. Like, you got to bring somebody with you. You have to have, if you have 12 girls at the show, like, they meet in groups of 3 or 4, like, you have some, I believe this coach has somebody that helps him, like, bring them, like, yeah, it's a dangerous world.
I think he does that now, though, because that was probably like a big, like, oh my God, there could be a fucking lunatic in this group. So because I've seen all of his posts after that were sort of just like group check-ins and stuff, which makes more sense. You don't want to have to do that because you want to give the athlete a one-on-one and you want to be able to only focus on them, but then somebody's trying to fucking burn down your empire because of who knows what the fuck's going on in that that girl's head. But if you haven't watched that video,
not only burn.
If you haven't watched his reply video, highly recommend. He's himself, and he's an eccentric and fucking maniac of a coach, and just he wins. But if you watch to the very end in the last few minutes, you'll see, wow, there couldn't be any other story but the way he says it, and here's objective proof that she never replied to. So.
And I think what irks me about those situations is that you're right. I hadn't seen the response video from him. That one didn't get tens of thousands of shares. It wasn't blasted on every, like, expose the frauds, expose the sexual predators kind of pages and accounts like that. And it almost takes away the legitimacy from the real claims. It's like there are like women out there who have real claims against coaches, and people will point to this example and be like, it's probably just another one of those crazy girls like what happened with so and so. And then, you know, this feeds into what we talked about originally, where it's like, this is why these girls don't come forward. They're going to get lumped in with these other girls who are making up these fake claims that you're talking about.
You know, it sucks because, hey, say that didn't happen, say that girl didn't make that video. How much more airtime would we have given to the guy we have proof that he's bringing girls into his fucking room and taking their clothes off and measuring them and doing all the weird shit? Like, how much more airtime would that shit would have gotten? Probably a lot more, but, you know, it was a distraction. Oh, here's a more successful coach and we have a worse story. Jump up the ladder. It's stupid, man. It's fucking stupid.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Dom?
Well, I think a lot of them don't get their fair shot because they'll feel like they'll just get instantly silenced because, again, a lot of people will not take them seriously. And I also, you could go back to the ones that it never happened to. A lot of those, you know, dude, like women in general are just very vicious. Like they will shut that shit down right away. Like, oh, well, he never did that to me. And I feel like that scares them off too about, you know, talking about whatever has happened with, you know, their situation.
You're right, because chicks are crazy loyal to their coaches.
Yeah, they're the most loyal. Like, that coach could, nothing wrong with it. That coach could mess up their prep 10 years in a row, and they're going to stay with that coach because they're with that coach. And that's, I know people firsthand account like that. And
yeah, they'll never leave.
They'll never leave. But let somebody say negative. Let somebody say something negative about them. That's when it's like, you know, possibly getting attacked. Maybe if they're a confrontational person, they'll go right after them and be like, "Yo, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you're making this shit up." And if the person has no support behind what they're trying to say, they might actually just shut the fuck up and be like, "This isn't even worth it at this point."
Yeah. It almost reminds me of the Shelby Starnes situation where there's like, here is like the exact protocol. Here is the woman who died from that protocol. And then you have other women that are coached under Shelby Starnes. They're like, you know, Shelby's a great coach. Like, he would never do anything like that. This girl clearly had some other issue going on. And those videos
like
are popping up left and right.
They tried to dismiss
Shelby.
all of that by, oh, she had a predisposed heart condition. Or she had, like, an electrolyte imbalance. Or she already had an existing arrhythmia. Like, cool, yeah, maybe that could have been true. But the protocol itself was what made the damage happen. So, like, you know, and I know people personally coached by him. So, I've seen it all.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez, it's a tough game out there, coaching people.
It's a great
dude.
Industry.
We are in the most
fucked up
industry.
Like
literally, like our industry is made for making people better, and everyone sucks.
Dude, it's not only that. It's like you can do these things, and it won't end your career. You know.
Oh yeah, go try to do that at go try to start fucking people that you're working with as a manager at some like other company. Like, good luck, bro. The first one you do wrong.
Yo, you're a surgeon.
Yeah, you're fucking.
You're a surgeon and you're banging all the nurses. Like, you're done. You're out of here. You're a surgeon. You kill somebody and it's like for sure your fault. You're done. You're a bodybuilding coach. You're a fucking hero, man. You're the man. You're getting high fives. You're getting dapped up at nationals.
I'm telling you,
it's
the biggest like. It's the saddest thing because we're literally in an industry made for helping somebody become better and make their lives better, and everyone in this industry is a piece of shit.
Dude, it's just like, let's say you're a football coach and somebody dies on your football field because they didn't drink enough water. You're sitting there like, everything's over. My entire life, no job.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to jail. I am going to jail.
I'm going to work at 7-Eleven again, like dumbbells and donuts. Did you guys see my hit piece on dumbbells and donuts this last week?
Yeah, let's. I think we're done talking about creepy coaches. Let's close things out here with a little dumbbells and donuts talk. You know, maybe that can be the trend. Since we're loving the podcast with you, John, we finish each episode with a little dumbbells and donuts recap. What's the latest happenings?
So I canceled her before. She's like the triple-headed Hydra, right? Like I cut off one head, but there's still 2 left. I thought she was done. I thought she was gonna go back and start working at a gas station again. But she all of a sudden makes a miraculous reappearance. I know a bunch of her clients fired her last time I exposed her for being a shit, and she got a new thing. So she made a team where she's hiring coaches underneath of her, and she got like 8 or 10 or 12 girls to work with her as coaches.
First off, how?
I have no fucking idea. I don't know. There's like
It
3
blows my
pros, girls with really good physiques, and they're working underneath of her, which is just a strange twist of the imagination. Anyway, she somehow pulled it off. And what she does is, now imagine this. I have Ryan, Dom, and Paul working underneath of me. I constantly post photos of them in their best during prep, photos of them. And I say, look at my athletes. Look at the best physiques I've had in 2021. And I post photos of them. Would that be right or wrong?
It'd be wrong. I'm not that great though, so it wouldn't get you very far.
That is very wrong.
But to the average person that doesn't expect
I'm
much, Paul.
the
No, I'm
best.
just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, so what she's doing is she's got these 12 girls that are coached by other people like Nasser and probably some Starnes Klein.
Revelia and like big fucking
huge
names.
name coaches. They're coaching these really good athletes. And she made a poster of all of her coaches. There's one athlete on the poster, and the rest are coaches.
I was gonna
One
say, was there
hiding
any
in the
athletes?
back. And the poster says, our best athletes of 2020, or our best physiques of 2021. And it says, donuts and dumbbells, coaching, contest prep, dieting. And so the average user would look at that and say, wow, she's got 12 all-stars there. Amazing. I'm going to hire her. And so I screenshot it and I put a bunch of posts. There was a screenshot of the flyer, a screenshot of the client talking about their coach and thanking their coach in their last stage thing. And I tagged the coach and I tagged the client. All the coaches got back to me and were like, what the fuck? Half of them were blocked. So she blocked these coaches so they wouldn't see that she's posting this shit. And yeah, just tore the whole
Dude,
tore
this
the
is
whole mother down.
crazy.
You see
Yeah.
it? She's like a cult leader. She took them out to like a retreat. Like it's literally like a Advocare type of cult thing. They go on like girls retreats and stuff, and I think she's a manipulator. You know, she's working her little fucking
like
business.
the actual coaches featured on the photo. I feel like if I saw that, I'd be like, hey man, I don't think this is good for the relationship I have with my coach. You know?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the. I'm gonna pull up. You guys talk. I'm gonna pull up the.
I wonder if
thing
any
so I can
of
show
them.
it. I think.
I mean, I'll just throw out an offer. John, I'll pay you $1,000 personally if you can get dumbbells.
Dude,
and
do you know in
donuts to come on the
2021
podcast.
she didn't have a single person win?
If you go to her,
That
She has
shocks
a
me, Dom.
schedule
I'm
of-
shocked by
of-
that.
Who placed what?
yeah, and they're all.
None
it's
of them
like
are at first
seventh
place.
place.
Oh, she has one first place. October.
Sixth and novice.
Yeah, she's like objectively terrible.
22nd place? Like, there is no 22nd place.
All right, guys, I got it up. Can I screen share? Now, just a
Yep.
quick question: if I screen share and it's Pornhub and not anything related to bodybuilding, we have to edit it out.
I mean, we don't have to. We can.
Okay. All right.
I mean, as long as it's tasteful.
All right. Can you guys see?
Yeah.
All right. So we got
We can.
all these physiques. The upper left-hand corner girl, that's one of her actual clients, and then everybody else.
Oh, she looks decent.
Not a client. For instance, this girl. She's tagging her coach down there, Janelle Warner. She's Team Boss Bodies. You can see her on the left, like bottom left there of the photo. You got this girl. She's one of Nasser's. I seen Nasser. She's his. He was pissed. I actually messaged him and I was like, "Hey, some shit going down."
He's a funny
This
one
girl's
to go.
coached by
Like,
Paul.
really? Why
Wait,
would
so,
you...
okay, so these people are coached by other
Yep,
coaches.
I know her.
But she's
Yes.
claiming she coached them?
Yes, but they're...
Well, here's her claim.
Yeah.
Just a handful.
No. She's not claiming
Just
that
a
she coached them.
handful of our best physiques from 2021. You see up in the upper left.
Oh, so she's making it almost seem like these were her athletes.
Exactly what I'm calling out for. She's pretending, and she's saying, "Oh, I didn't say it directly." Like, no. If you looked at this flyer, if I made a flyer like this and I posted it, what would people think?
They would think they were your athletes.
Yeah, and why would they think that? Because I'm posting a photo of them. I'm a fucking prep coach, and I'm tagging them in the.
Hold up. Let's take it a step deeper. Read Ashley M. Baroja's comment right here. I commented back at this girl because she's got a really good point right here. So if these athletes are coaches under her, aren't they a bit complicit in not saying anything when she does this? I 100% agree with Ashley here.
Yeah, like why? I would be pissed.
I would be pissed if I was their coach. I would be like, I don't want to work with you anymore. You're like letting this fucking whatever the hell take credit for what we're doing here. Also, how is she getting these people to coach under her? This is blowing my fucking mind.
Paul, talk.
We're just stretching the truth a little bit, embellishing. That's it. No, oops.
Hold on.
You keep doing it.
Paul, can we hear? Can we hear what you have to say, Paul?
It's done. Continue on.
Go, Paul.
All right. Well, to agree with you, yeah. I would expect my people. If I saw this shit and one of my athletes was in that poster, I'd be like, you got to pick who you're working with because that's not doing anything for me. You know, she's using them. All the work that we put into our people, all the whatever, it's, you know, sometimes it's a marketing opportunity that you get out of it. Posting your people, proving what you can do. She's getting the benefit of that without doing anything, which is her whole
Do you think
stand.
she pays them?
No,
Has
maybe.
to.
I
Has
don't know.
to.
There's something that we don't know about. She took them all on a retreat. Maybe she paid for it. And she's like, you know, it's like prison rules. Like, I gave you a honey bun, you give me that ass later. You know, something like that. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows how she's doing it? I don't know. I think there may be honey buns involved, though. She's just a delusional fucking person.
Me thinks this girl's like $60,000 in credit card debt from paying these people out. That's my theory here.
Possibly be making a lot of money from it. Just can't possibly. No,
Can't.
My goal is.
And every time she sees Goob U tagged you in something, she sees those dollars dwindle.
Last time I know for a fact because all of her clients got in my inbox and were like, "Thank you for telling me she's a shit. I got rid of her." Last time that happened, so like I know a bunch of her people fired her before, and so she came back. Like I said, 3-headed Hydra. Like there's one head left now. I imagine a lot of these girls probably dipped out or they ruined a relationship with their coach. Because I tagged in all those posts, in all the stories, I tagged the coaches and was like, hey, if you guys didn't know this is going on, this is going on. All of them were like, this is unacceptable. So there was some conversation that was had with everybody on her staff, with the person that they listened to when they listened to her, hopefully. So maybe there's some friction there. See what happens. I don't know. Fuck her.
Is there legal recourse there? Is that something where you can kind of go
Probably
after
not.
them legally? I don't
What are you gonna
think
get?
it
A
is,
couple
right?
$1,000?
I don't think there's any truth in advertising laws for competitive bodybuilding coaches. I don't know. But there's a term my mother used to say all the time, you can't get blood from a rock. So who has standing? Standing means, you can, it affects you directly. So like who has standing? And it wouldn't be me because I'm not looking for a coach. And then what is the monetary payout for it? I don't know. I think it's just a greater good if we just make her stop doing it through shame. So that's what I'm doing here.
Paul, you like that, right? A little bit of shaming. Can't go wrong with a little bit of shaming. Oh, he's got Pancake's getting wild over there.
Paul.
He's got himself muted. We're gonna let Paul close out the podcast. I feel bad for
He was
interrupting
really
him.
upset
I think
about
he
it.
was
He had
upset
a
by
tip.
Paul.
Yeah.
He was. What was he gonna say? He was gonna say, "I think we're just stretching the truth a little bit."
Try to
I
get
think
him
that's
to
what he
say
was
it.
gonna say.
Let's tell him we're not going to
Something to
proceed
that
until he
effect.
actually completes his thought. Well,
I like that, Paul. Hey, Paul.
Man, I don't give a
the only
fuck
way
about
we
you
can close
guys
this thing
anymore,
out and
dude.
go
Fuck
along
y'all.
with our days is that you
Never
finish
coming
off
back.
what your thought was.
Well, you can't leave.
No.
What was
no,
it,
dude,
Paul?
doesn't even
I
matter
think that
now,
we're
man.
just stretching the truth a little bit. Is that what we were saying?
It doesn't even matter.
We're not
Well,
good.
maybe
I mean, I got
you,
all
you would
day.
shut the fuck up. No, it's too late, dude.
I'm shut. I have shut
See,
it
you
the
did
fuck
it
up.
again.
Brian, cover
You
your
did it
mouth.
again.
Don't do it.
That wasn't me though. That was John this time.
No.
Here, everybody just mute yourself really
I hope
quickly.
you all go to hell. That's what I want. I want this whole thing to burn to the fucking ground, dude. So I can piss on it. That's what I had to say. With your fucking shit-eating grins looking at me right now. Like I'm the one that fucked up? No, you guys fucked up. I'm hungry, guys. Let's get out of here.
Paul, what do you think about donuts and
I
dumbbells?
think she does a
making
fantastic job, and you're
false
just a piece of shit.
Now, is this your opinion before or after I interrupted you way too
I
many
think ever
times?
since I've known you were a piece of shit, dude.
Both.
I've never claimed to not be a piece of shit, technically, so
Somewhat
we could be on the same page there. There's
irrelevant.
nothing wrong with it, Paul. Yeah. Wow. Paul's really heard about this whole interrupting thing. We're gonna have to carve out a minute where Paul can just talk unfiltered with nobody interrupting him. At least 1 minute.
Maybe on the next episode, because now we're coming up on our time, our hour point. Guys, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. As always, do the YouTube stuff, the like, the comment, and the subscribe. Please hit it with a big thumbs up for Paul. It's the only thing that can bring him back around. Mr. Goob, what would you like to say to close things out?
Don't let Paul's tiff distract you from the fact that my 12-week transformation contest is currently in registration. It starts March 5th. It is $500 to enter. And you just DM me, Goob U Amish Lord on Instagram, and I'll
I heard he
definitely
doesn't
get
even
you all hooked
coach
up.
you for the contest. I heard it's a big scam.
I just make them all coach each other afterward.
Control C, Control V. There's your meal plan. There's your coaching. Thanks for your money. Hey, Jake, make that the clip. Make a little clip there for Goob and the Transformation Challenge. Guys, win yourself a nice chain from Trax NYC.